Okay, welcome to another episode of NGTV Television. We are honored today to have the developers of Infernal Frontier. Why don't you guys introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about the roles that you played in development?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Liam Doyle. I was the creative director on this project as well as one of the main gameplay programmers. So I helped with a lot of the smaller assets of the programming as well as setting up like our story and writing the script and kind of the more thematic side of things.
I'm Charisma. I did most of the sound stuff, so anything you hear, that is all me.
Alright, I'm Kyle Reed. I was the main environmental designer of all the maps and everything, as well as the team lead for the project.
Great, and we have two other team members that are not here today, but we will talk about them in the presentation later. So I think we'll just jump right in, and Liam's going to take charge and do sort of tour of the game. So just to give a little backstory, this is for the Neumont Game Studios. Enterprise with a 10 weeks to work on the game. They decided to work on Unreal, and this was their project. And maybe as you're playing the game, you'll talk about how the ideas and how the game came about.
Yeah, for sure. So with most projects in any sort of sense, we definitely started with a lot more. We originally had a whole bunch of topics and themes and different like gameplay tags that we wanted to follow. Third person, action shooter, western.
Settling
around the campfire.
I know I was part of the naming game.
It all started with
I think
my last
Kyle also contributed to the name.
Okay.
So yeah, it's fully voice acted.
Get the bounty
With the death of Prickly Pete, I returned home, and that's when I saw him, the devil.
Now this is what we call consequences, Mr. Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, I really like the cinematic.
You've taken my right-hand man,
cutscenes and stuff.
so I'm
It
going
really
to
adds a
take
lot.
your
I
wife.
did want to mention
And
that,
with that,
they are not.
devil
there might be some
vanished
bugs
with my
that you
wife.
might see here, so they're still
I spent a
putting on
real long
final
time
touches.
trying to make
So with
things
that,
right, but
little
I
bugs
couldn't,
will come up here and there as
with
they're
no
squashing
idea
it.
how to get my wife
But,
back.
Tell us a little bit
So
about
they
the
go to
idea.
town to
What's
get a
going on with
drink.
the story?
What's the
so
matter,
the
partner?
whole idea is
The
that you are
bartender
this
asked.
lone wanderer
The devil
who was
is
about to
all I
be a
said
retired
to him.
bounty hunter.
Is that so?
And on your last
I might
bounty,
just have the
which
solution
was
for you.
the fight scene that we just saw occur against
Head
Prickly
out
Pete.
back and I'll teach you how to use that there gun.
You kill Prickly Pete and you head back home, and you come to find out once you get back that Prickly Pete was actually the right hand man of the devil. And so in retaliation, the devil decides to sue your wife, and the main scope of the game is that you're this bounty hunter trying to find spell components to be able to locate the devil and take back your wife. And obviously, with everything meet allies along the way, we have our wonderful bartender here. One of our other members, Avery, she worked on a lot of models, so this bartender tender model, our main character model here, all concept art and modeling was done by
So this is kind of
All
a
you have to
little
do
bit of
is
tutorial
change your
area
gun's
here, right?
element. Just hit that there button. Give it a try.
One
Shoot
of the
them
things that we
targets.
really wanted with this game was to have a more unique gunplay element to it, but instead of having the sorry, I'm losing
Now come back inside. I'll explain
Different
that.
type of weapons, you have the different types
yeah,
of.
instead of having different type of weapons, we have different elements.
Yeah.
It seems like we're having issues with the audio.
Oh. Okay, so is there a way that we can set down the?
So not in game, but we can turn this down.
Okay, that'd be great.
Is that better? I hope. We're gonna just kind of continue.
Actually, wait, hand me the headphones.
You have to turn them
I was worried about that because the music could be a little loud in this,
Yeah.
so we apologize.
Yeah, we're hopefully gonna get this figured out and fixed. I don't know if it pulls the microphone audio through it.
Hmm?
It's just desktop. Yeah, it's probably just desktop.
Well, we'll see. Post in the chat about our audio levels. Right?
Yeah, we'll just give it a pause here, see if hopefully that fixed things.
Yeah, it looks like the levels are better there.
Yeah. Wait for stream chat to catch up. I can continue talking for
Yeah.
a little bit, just
Sure.
explaining things. So yeah, we didn't want just to have a stereotypical gameplay element of just a 6-shooter.
Yeah.
And we also didn't want to go into having a whole bunch of different weapons,
Uh-huh.
like the stereotypical pistol, shotgun,
Yeah, rifle.
rifle.
Yeah.
Like we didn't want to lean into that, so instead we have this element system
Uh-huh.
that we came up with, and each element does its own unique thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the first element here we have is the fire element. It will explode on impact.
Okay.
It's one of the things we're working on still is an explosion effect. So
Yeah.
it does. There isn't blast before damage. It just isn't incorporated yet.
Yeah.
We have the water gun here. So both this and the fire element are more of a typical 6-shooter.
Okay.
And the water slows enemies down when they get hit.
Okay.
We have the shotgun, or the earth, which is my personal favorite because it is a shotgun.
Cool.
So it fires multiple rounds. And then we have the air element here, which this is like a burst fire rifle, basically. So one of the other cool things or unique things that we have with these elements is that we have the ability to upgrade them.
Mm-hmm.
So if I run over here to the gunsmith, we can actually upgrade each one of the elements with their own unique upgrades. Awesome, sounds like our audio is a lot better.
Okay, great.
So yeah, we can upgrade each one of our elements here. Each element track is unique and only affected that one element. So we have like the fire track here,
Mm-hmm.
increases damages and range and everything. We have the water, which increases the slow chance, the damage again.
Mm-hmm.
Then the earth element is it again damage, range, fire rate,
Mhm.
as well as it increases how many bullets there are each time,
Okay.
as well as the air, which increases the amount of bullets burst each time.
Okay. So I wanted to ask Kyle on this. Can you go back outside? So I know you worked a little bit on some of the level layout here, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about what's going on here, what you did?
Yeah. So I wanted to make a traditional Mexican town,
Mm-hmm.
kind of just we called it the hub world.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to give it kind of like a central piece. That's why we have the fountain there, and I kind of just built the sound from there.
Mhm.
I wanted the saloon as it being the major part of the game, being the centralized object as soon as you enter the town, as well as kind of the shop and the gunsmith off to the sides.
Mhm.
And since this is more of a desert game, I just kind of wanted to make the foliage match,
Mhm.
hence the cactus and the desert trees and the low grass and dried up grass and stuff like that and rocks, as well as just kind of, we actually went through 2 iterations for this. Originally it was a more compact map,
Yeah.
but then we wanted to kind of allow for more exploration, as well as to make it feel a little bit better going around the map.
Yeah. So, and Carter, you added a lot of the environmental sounds. Like, I know you guys added some NPC voiceover and stuff.
Yeah. So every time you go up to an NPC, you can hear them. You can hear somebody say something pretty cool. And yeah, I think having the whole game voice acted is very very fun. And it was a good challenge.
It was a very fun challenge. We spent several weeks getting auditions and then recording them later on. We definitely want to say thank you for everyone that helped us with voice recordings between students and friends and roommates. It was very awesome of you guys. We thank you very, very much. To show off more of the game, we'll go back here into the saloon and talk to the bartender again. Here he's giving us our first bounty. This is kind of a thematic element that we want to incorporate, where to get all the spell components for the spell to find the devil, you're taking down more bounties, basically, to kind of continue that thematic of you're this lonesome bounty hunter, just trying to find your wife. So yeah, if we go now outside of town, we'll head to the first boss arena, basically. And Kyle, if you want to.
Oh yeah, of course. So this map also went through several iterations. Actually, one of our members, Brendan Finney, who sadly couldn't be here with us today, came up with the idea.
But he's
for-
alright.
He's alright.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He's just got allergies and he was kind of sniffling a lot, so he didn't want to be on stream. But he actually came up with the idea for a lumberyard, and I kind of took that and made it kind of a Midwestern kind of lumberyard where it's lumber everywhere. There's lumber mills, cranes, lots of different things, as well as like places for the enemies to sleep, and again, low foliage, just because we are in a desert area.
I don't remember that little barn. Was that barn there before? Can you go in there? Or?
Yeah, so this was a very recent change that we made.
Okay.
I'm not great at our game. It's fine. We'll head right back in. Originally, there was a lot more logs here, but we decided to cut out this pathway here down the center to open it up more and make it feel more maneuverable. It was very hard to maneuver at first because there were just so many logs everywhere. Some of the fun things that we've had that were definitely some challenges is Brandon Finney again came up with this cover object stuff, so you can aim down your sight and you'll come up over, you can leave cover, you can uncrouch. Me and our other person, Avery, worked on the pickups, so like this flask here, which is a health pickup. We also have ammo, which is just a few bullets. We have there's the ammo. We have our two currencies, money and junk, as pickups as well, with a tin can and a gold bar respectively. And as long as I don't die, I can show off our first actual boss of Tornado Tom.
There you go.
Here we are. Another thing that we wanted to do, originally we had a larger scope and we wanted more, we originally had planned 4 bounty bosses in total, 1 for each of the elements. So this is Tornado Tom, he's our air element guy. And he summons tornadoes, if we can actually get a look at one of them. There we go. Oop, that should not be like that, but that's fine. The tornado will follow the player and it'll deal damage when you're in it. And then to kind of keep up with the whole, like, this is a bandit camp filled with bandits, the enemies keep spawning until their boss here is down.
So you were talking about the different, you call them BBs, right? Was that the
Yes.
nickname for these
Yep, we call them BBs.
bounty bosses?
Yep, just short for bounty bosses.
So the original idea was to be 4 plus the devil, or what was the?
Yeah, so
idea?
originally it was going to be 4 plus the devil. So, some more like insight to like the story of it is each one of these bounty bosses is kind of a head of the kind of like a hierarchy of like there's the devil, then these are his like main guys, and then it's everyone else. So originally we were gonna have 4 bounty bosses, 1 for each element, and then the devil was gonna be Avatar, master of all elements, basically. We just had to scope that down a little bit just due to time. So now we got 3 with the devil kind of heading the fire element.
Okay.
So as I said earlier, this one is Tornado Tom.
Yeah.
He's our air element guy, and he summons tornadoes.
Okay.
We can head on back out to the hub level now that we've finished. We wanted to do this system instead of just kicking us right back to the hub to allow players to explore, because there are chests to find, enemies to kill, all that sort of fun stuff.
Cool.
And then yeah, you'll head right back to the bartender to hear him talk.
So during the development of this, well, like, what are some of like the biggest challenges that you guys have had?
I definitely think one of the biggest ones, if not the biggest one, is we're using this beta plugin with Unreal called multi-user editing.
Okay.
It basically allows us to like set up a server that has our project on it, so we can all connect and kind of work on the project at one time.
Yeah.
It helps with reducing merge conflicts on GitHub and that sort of stuff. Especially this past couple weeks, we've been having a lot of crash issues. And so it's just been a kind of a slog almost. I've especially been having a lot of issues on my end personally.
Yeah.
So I've kind of taken a step back from the programming and have worked more on our store page, which should be up soon, and being our kind of like in-house play tester. So every time we've made a push, I'll like pull the push and then make a build of it and then play the game and see what's wrong, and then just be writing on the whiteboard what all needs to be worked on or tweaked.
So did you give that to the bartender? Did the bartender give you another?
Yep. So we kind of talked over a little bit, but we found the gem. It
Oh
is
yeah,
that
the
yellow
gems up
crystal
there.
up there.
I like that.
And then the bartender gave us our next bounty.
Okay.
The bounty poster was really cool. Shout out to Kyle and I for working on that. It kind of helps with showing who you should be focusing on when you go to the boss area.
So a lot of you guys have experience in Unity, and now a good amount of experience with Unreal. What are your feelings between the two engines?
For me personally, I love both, and they're definitely both better at doing their own respective things. My personal grievance with Unreal is what's called blueprint mode, where instead of doing typed out text and programming it like that, like most programming is, it is more visual and not quite drag and drop, because there isn't like a toolbox for you to pull things from, but a lot more akin to that.
A lot more visual node-based connections, right?
And just for how my brain works, my brain just functions better on.
You like an instant the code portion. What about you guys? What are you thinking?
I like both of them. I think, like as Leo said, they both have their strengths. But I don't have a. I mean, both are fine. I like both of them. I'll use both of them. So
cool.
They're great.
For me, I'm the same way. I do love both of them. However, I do feel that Unreal has a better capability when it comes to larger games. In my opinion, it's also the nodes or the Bluetooth technology, blueprint technology. I do agree with Leo that I do like kind of lines of code more than I do the nodes, as they're called, within Unreal. And Unity, I feel, has a better thing for 2D games, because paper on here is kind of actually terrible.
So talking about this fiddling duel, that was actually an idea we had brought up at the very beginning. We were making jokes about the devil going down to Georgia and having a fiddling battle and all that sort of stuff. And we did originally have the idea of the devil's weapon being a fiddle, and he would play like different music or different notes to send out the different attacks. Again, it's just kind of a scope thing. 10 weeks sounds like a lot until you're making the game. So
I mean, the first week, you guys went from nothing to this, right, till release. So even the first week, I remember the whiteboard with all the different ideas, all the different genres that you guys were thinking about, right? So, I mean, and even with 10 weeks, you really got 9 kind of weeks, right? And then you start with the finishing up and just bug testing and stuff. You probably got about 6-7 weeks to actually really do the hardcore.
Of just core development.
Features and stuff.
It's definitely spun. It's definitely wound down on that end a lot more in the. bug fixing and play testing and
Yeah.
demoing and getting player feedback and
Yep.
smaller alterations instead of making like, hey, we need to make an entire boss fight tonight type of stuff.
So they're saying secrets in the hub world is sick. Yeah. So
We-
you had that money back there. I saw.
Yeah, so we wanted to encourage players to explore. I didn't read it off earlier, but we do have a pop-up kind of explaining that there's chests around the world and stuff. So there are chests hidden in every single map.
Mhm.
So there's another one back here. There's a chest. There was the one I gained earlier up in that other house. What corner is the chest in?
This one.
This one? Okay. We have this one chest back here that unless you know where it is, you cannot find it. I
Oh, it
think
might be
it's-
another corner.
Oh wait, I'm not in the full corner.
And even we don't know where
Yes.
it is.
Oh,
We
there.
made the game and we don't know where it is. Oh, I think I see it now.
You think you see it? Okay.
So yeah, there are these little hidden chests. I'll show you one of my favorite hidden chests in the next level, which is there's another chest here. Yeah, we can move on to the next boss fight, the water boss. Some of the smaller details I want to bring up is the poncho here with the
Yeah.
cloth
Physics. It's
Thank you for
cloth
that word.
physics.
Our person Avery spent a lot of time working on that. Still a little finicky, but
Yeah. Well, I do like that. I mean, we have to admit that not a lot of the assets are pre-made, right? So
Yep.
within that time, we're a school that doesn't really. I mean, we have Maya class and stuff like that, but we're not going to create. We're not going to work on all the artwork. But Avery loves to do art, and so we have all these characters, and we're actually going to look at some of the behind the scenes in just a second.
yeah. So all of like the mainline characters, so the
Mhm.
wife, the bartender, the bosses, the
Yeah.
main character here. I can't remember if I've repeated other ones.
Yeah.
They are all homemade.
Yeah.
We made them here in house. The wife, bartender, main character, and the devil were all made by Avery,
Yeah.
and all of the bounty bosses were made by Carter here. And to show you one of the secret chests that I absolutely love, it is right here. It is hidden inside the little outhouse.
That's
I love
great.
it. It's so cool. Another big thing when it comes to playtesting, outside of just finding bugs, is scaling things.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that we're planning on changing. You currently need 30 enemies killed before the boss spawns,
Yeah.
and just playing it, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's definitely a big jump up from the 10 from the previous level.
Yeah.
So we're planning on
Maybe
small tweaks like that.
15, 20,
Yeah,
something like
15, 20, something like
Yeah,
that instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
The objective system actually is also a really cool thing that Kyle here made. If you want to
Talk about it.
So we're going to be making it a lot better soon. Right now, it just keeps track of. We call it kill counter right now, just because that's its major premise. But eventually, what it will do is it'll keep track of kind of what your next objective is, like killing the next bounty boss, or leaving the town, or going to the bartender. So right now, it is in its early stages, but it was actually fairly easy to do. But it honestly gives the game a lot better feel to it as you actually have an objective.
And you know where you're at, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, that's a lot of kills, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, it's-
I still
he's
need
only at
7,
23,
Yeah,
yeah.
I still need 7 kills.
Oh wait, okay, so never mind. I'm reading that wrong then. I thought it said 23 kills.
It's 23 out of 30 right now.
Oh, okay, spacing.
I might die and have to restart, and that would not be fun.
Well, that's all right. If we do, then we'll move on to the.
Well, one of the things that I worked on that I'm so thankful that I decided to get an early jump on is we do have a saving and loading system,
Yeah.
which I know is a default in every game nowadays,
Yeah.
but to actually make it work
Yeah.
is a lot harder than people might come to think at first.
I believe.
So, like, if I were to die here, yes, I'd have to restart, but I'd only have to restart this map.
Mhm.
So I would get. I'd only have to, like, I'd spawn back in the hub level, and I just have to get get back into this level and kill 30 enemies again. Get back to spawn.
I love the hidden chest here. They think that we should do
Yes.
achievement, right?
Yes. absolutely love getting achievements in. I'm definitely a completionist at heart. I have way too many games, 100% achievement wise in Steam.
Okay, so tell me about the ball there.
So, like I said earlier, each one of the bosses is an element, so we decided each one of them should have their own unique attack. So this one is still in the early stage of development. It's a little water ball.
Okay.
It's gonna be following the player and it will explode on impact. And Soggy Sam here, as the name and the unique thing, unique attack implies, he is a water guy. He summons these water balls here. When you get closer to them, they turn this red color to warn you. And there is currently no feedback, but damage. I should get out of here before I die and lose the progress. But yeah, we decided to give each one of them their own unique thing. I will say though, that is unfortunately basically where we have to end the actual playing of it. We've been running into an issue where we can't actually get to the next boss.
Okay.
I'll show the final cutscene that we can get to here though, and introduce our final guy. His name is Rocky Rick. He's our Earth guy. To kind of talk about what he's gonna do as a special move. He's gonna basically summon up Earth walls to like kind of block the player in, because he's more of a shotgunner style boss. So his whole point is supposed to be like summons this wall behind you so you kind of get stuck and he can get closer to you and deal you more damage.
Cool. Okay. Well, that looks great. I mean, there's a couple little things to wrap up, but I mean, 10 weeks and you guys got an awesome looking game.
Thank
Right?
you.
We have some slides prepared because we wanted to show a little bit behind the scenes, and we don't have Unreal installed on this machine, so I had the developers kind of prepare a little slideshow of some of the stuff here. So
There.
Oh,
This is our
wait. Sorry, I just remembered about this. I was the person who created the logo.
yeah,
Completely forgot about that.
yes.
And you know, and yeah, like Leo said, I did help with some of the bounty bosses
Mhm.
because having one person make 8 character models is way too much.
Yeah.
So I took some of the load off of that.
You guys use Blender, right?
Yep.
Blender is what you guys use. Okay. Cool.
So here's our whole team. Again, Kyle, Carter, and I are all here. Brandon and Avery, who are lead game programmer and our lead art director respectively, are unfortunately not able to make it today.
Okay.
But these slides are kind of more focusing on what they did, just because we were here to kind of talk about what we did. So
Okay.
we wanted to give them a chance to
Sure.
have the spotlight, even though they're not here.
Great.
So one of the biggest things that Avery worked on as the art director was the concept art.
Mhm.
So pretty much all of our characters got a piece of concept art for before modeling, so we kind of knew what we were getting into.
Okay.
This is the concept art for the loner, and I'm just going to read off the slide here because this is straight from Avery. Main character concept was inspired by the overall concept and vibe of a loner. So very mysterious, dark, and warm colors to match the scenery of the world he's in. And I believe this is the actual image that Avery used in Blender to model the character off.
Yes.
Blender model, she said some changes had to be made to the character's design overall, since there were some limitations with the poncho. Then in engine, she applied the cloth physics so that it would flow like a poncho should, kind of what we were seeing in there before. And yeah, we kind of went from this side poncho that Avery really loved and really wanted to try to do to this more traditional poncho, simply out of time and limitations with softwares and our knowledge of them. This is the bartender. She said the bartender was based around the stereotypical bartender concept you'd see in old Western movies.
Thank you.
So,
Sorry.
yeah, thank you, Brandon. Thank you. This.
Was that Brandon?
Yes, that is your adoptive son, Brandon.
Okay. Okay. Good.
So yeah, the concept was this very stereotypical, like the kind of classy for being in the middle of a desert. Sort of style.
Pour you a little shot of whiskey.
Yep.
Guy.
Yep.
Not that I drink. I'm just saying.
This one she was very proud of, and we actually didn't have to make any changes to the model. We got it in there, and she was able to just do it. And
Great.
as she said, the mustache was her favorite part to do. Here's the devil. We didn't get to see him in game, but he's pretty much this verbatim in game. She said the devil is one of her favorites to create. She took inspiration from existing devils, so stereotypical horns and pointed tail. And she wanted to go for something a lot more flashy, so she decided to dress him up in a suit model. She said that they had to make some minor changes, such as the gold band around the ankles, so then it separates the feet from the rest, and she can add the gold soles for some more flair. It's a little hard to see, but in that right picture, you can kind of see the sole being gold. She didn't seem to.
Who does the voice for the devil?
That is one. Oh my god!
It's actually one of our very own
Yeah.
IT people that work here,
Oh.
Alex Turo.
Oh,
Yes.
Alex Turrell. Okay.
Yeah, I was planning on giving special thanks to everyone who
Yeah.
voice acted kind of towards the end.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Alex Turo was our devil.
Great.
He was.
He is a devil. Yeah. Yeah.
He came in very handy and very clutch, kind of a
Alright.
almost final seconds type of scenario. Another thing I was gonna point out with the devil is I know Avery spent a good while trying to model the tail here, just
Yeah.
because it is a non-stereotypical humanoid feature that
Yeah.
kind of doesn't.
For most of us, yes.
Most of us
Yeah.
doesn't easily translate when like doing a stereotypical A or T pose modeling.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. This is you, right?
Yeah, so Avery made the concept art for Prickly Pete, and then I actually created him. And Prickly Pete went through a ton of iterations. At first, he was shirtless, which we thought was very weird. Because it's weird that he's shirtless.
Yeah.
But then we eventually put clothes on him. And then he, oh my goodness. And then yeah, we just kind of made him look more like a cowboy.
And more prickly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
more
of
prickly.
the things that I absolutely love that we did, I obviously can't speak to other in my game studio groups, but we collaborated on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Every single detail was brought up and it was like, what do you guys think of this?
Yeah.
What is this? So that's kind of
Yeah.
why Prickly Pete went through so many concepts.
Yeah.
Avery brought us the original one where we were all just kind of like, why is he shirtless?
Yeah.
And then so we went through all these iterations until eventually we landed on this final one.
I can almost imagine her voice when she said, "Well, it's shirtless." Right?
It was definitely just a bit of fun.
Perfect
there were,
redirection.
Yeah.
there were a lot of, not just with Prickly Pete, but kind of in its entirety, a lot of things that we
Yeah.
kept critiquing each other on. Because, like I said earlier, I did a lot of like the script working, so all the voice lines I wrote.
Yeah.
And if you can't tell, I'm
Yeah.
not from the South or the West.
Yeah.
So, and I'm in
He
fact
is.
from the Midwest.
Yeah.
So I wrote everything down in how I would say it,
Yeah.
and then had the help of ChatGPT as a tool
Oh,
and now an
yeah.
author,
Yeah.
as well as Kyle here, our resident
Yeah.
Texan,
Yeah.
to kind of give me critiques and help with slang and vocabulary.
Cool.
As well as me and Carter listened to a lot of westerns to kind of help with voice actors giving that western drawl to it.
Cool. Well, I do want to mention that you guys as a team work really well together, and I think that's makes the project better overall, right? Like, you know, I was very hands off, and so going in there, I knew you guys. You know, sometimes you have to do team management because there's difference of opinions or behaviors and people, you know. But you guys, in general, all seem to, you know, agree with things and support each other. So that was really good.
Yeah, like you were saying, I love that fact because yeah, it seemed like a lot of us, even when we did have critiques, they were brought to the table at the very beginning.
Yeah.
They weren't like, it wasn't like Carter had the whole thing modeled and then we're like, oh, but why is he shirtless?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it was very much a upfront and first. Even times when we like, I know me and Kyle have a couple times had like, we both explained the exact same UI, but then
Yeah.
visually had it different in our brains.
Mhm.
So we came like, and
Yeah.
when we realized that, we were like, okay, cool, let's try it this way and this way and see which one everyone likes better.
Yeah.
So even those aspects that weren't just like, audio was another one. Pretty much almost every single audio track, Carter was like, hey, does this one sound good or do you guys like this one better?
Cool.
So yeah, here's
Yeah. So I mean, this is Pete.
Yeah.
All the other BBs are like taken from this model because trying to create a new model for each of them is very time consuming, and I had to make sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I had better priorities, but I think all of them turned out great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to point out it was a little hard to see in game, just because some of the skeleton stuff with the animations is still a little bit wonky. We're still ironing it out.
Mhm.
Each one of the bounty bosses obviously it has an alliterated name, so we have Prickly Pete here.
Mhm.
He doesn't really have an element, so we're just like, he's a cactus because
Yeah.
it's Western.
Yeah.
He's cactus. And then we had Tornado Tom,
Yeah.
Soggy Sam, and Rocky Rick,
Yeah.
and each one of them has their own unique hat and mustache, which was like one of the main differences between the base model and all the other.
Who came up with the name Soggy Sam? I like that name. It's like,
I think it was me.
So I believe we had gone through a few iterations.
Oh, yeah.
We did go to ChatGPT to
Yeah.
get some names just because we were trying to figure out. We really loved. By the way, Avery came up with the name Prickly Pete,
Yes.
and we kind of wanted to
yeah,
keep
yeah.
that same syllable
Yeah.
name. So I do believe Sam came from ChatGPT, and then we were just kind of like, what matches with
Yeah.
Sam?
What words that are like about water that start
Yeah.
with S that go with Sam? I think I just started like listing ones off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and then
like
eventually Soggy Sam came up.
And and everyone's just like that whole like type of
Yeah.
type
Soggy
of
Sam, I love that name. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I think that was definitely a very fun day in the studio figuring out all those
Mhm.
names. So this next part is some of the game code. This was all our man Brandon. He sent me notes on what each one is kind of showing. and
Notes
about.
is being generous.
Notes
He
is
sent him
being-
an essay.
I got a novel. This first one is the enemy aim offset code. He says, enemy aim offset code is the code to get the correct direction for the enemy to aim at the player's upper body in order to shoot them. That is definitely the understatement of a century, because on top of this, he also did all of the animation work for the enemies and boss.
Yeah.
Almost all the animation work for the bosses, but definitely all the animation work for the enemies.
Yeah.
And so like he had to do blend spaces, and I think we basically went through like 3 full sets of animations. Because
Yeah.
originally we were using a plugin or extension that he had
Yeah.
that came with a bunch of animations built into it.
Yeah.
But then those were built for the Unreal Mannequin 4
Uh-huh.
mannequin. And so then when we changed it to the enemies that they are now, basically I had to get a whole new set of animations for them.
So I'm sure you did some inverse kinematics to get the aiming and stuff in there
Yes,
too.
I believe so.
Yes, I do want to give a shout out to Brandon. I mean, like, everybody pulled their weight, right? But I think in some of the things, Brandon had a heavy load with a lot of the character and a lot of the.
If we didn't have Brandon, our game wouldn't exist.
Yes, he is solely responsible for the AI functionality, the whole cover system that I said before,
Yeah.
the special attacks of each of the bosses.
Yeah.
We really could not have gotten this game to be
Yeah.
like it is now
Yeah.
without his help. So
Yeah.
definitely for sure a whole lot of congratulations and thank yous go towards him.
Cool. Yeah, let's just go through a little. I mean, I don't know if we want to read all of them because I think I want to wrap up in about 5 minutes. So
Okay.
let's just see what we have here.
So yeah, this is the Andromeda.
Okay.
So this is where all like the blend spaces take place, where
Yeah.
he's aiming, so all of that sort of fun stuff.
Okay.
This is the cover code for the enemies. So he's explained it to me a few times, and basically what they do is, depending on the type of enemy, because we have 3, we have a 6-shooter, a shotgunner, and a sniper. I believe the sniper basically locates the player, locates the cover object furthest from it, and then goes to that
Oh
cover
yeah, you
object
showed me
and
some
uses
of that.
it.
Yeah.
And then the 6-shooter does the same but opposite, finds the player and gets to the closest cover.
Yeah.
And then the shotgunner doesn't use cover, it just goes straight to the player.
Yeah. Yeah, you wanted to have each of them have a little bit of a different mindset, right? So.
This is the shotgun firing code. Again, a whole lot of stuff. I don't really know much about this. He's used a lot of his expertise with AI from previous games that he's made to really bring this game as much as he has.
Some of the viewers might have played some of his other hit games like Spider Fighter
Fighter.
1, 2,
Spider
and 3. Yeah.
For sure.
Uh-huh.
This is the AI tree.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot, and it looks like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot here. This is, I believe, each one of these branches is for each individual enemy. I could be incorrect about that. I don't really know, but I know that a good several days of his time was spent looking at this.
Yeah,
tree.
this is a pretty complicated behavior tree there. Looks good.
And I think that is it. That's the
Okay.
end of the slides.
Okay. So, what is left, guys? I mean, of course, we have 2 more days of school. But
Yeah.
so what's the thought? What's the
one
plan?
of my biggest things that I want to try to do is get more play testing.
Mhm.
We've only had a handful of people,
Yeah.
and several of them have been game oriented, so
Yeah.
they kind of know how
Yeah.
to explain the things that they're having issues with.
Yeah.
And from just personal experience, I think having like people who like to play games but not necessarily make games
Yeah.
play test,
Yeah.
because they might be able to explain it in a way that we can conceptualize and
Mhm.
better bring what they're trying to say to the table.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I agree with Leo. I think getting a lot more people that are not game orientated, like that make games,
Yeah.
helps a lot. Like Churro played our game today, and he discovered a ton of bugs because he wasn't actually looking for bugs. He didn't actually know what
And
to
he wasn't
look
playing
for.
as a gamer, he was just playing as a
Yeah, he was
person.
just playing as a regular person, and
Yeah.
he found so many bugs that me and Leo actually were over his shoulder, like, oh yeah, we should probably do this, we should probably do that, and we actually made a pretty long list of stuff just from his one game.
Yeah. And I'm working on controller support, so you can
Yeah.
play it from anywhere you want.
Nice.
Just before we wrap up, again, I
Yeah.
want to give a good shout out to all of our voice actors. So,
Well, yeah.
Alex Turro as the devil, Caleb Thompson as our main character, got that real Arthur Morgan voice to him. Zachariah Stever as the bartender, Platt Clark as the gunsmith and the shopkeep's voices,
Okay.
and then Kyle as one of our NPCs, Michael Odom, Damian Lagunas, and Brandon Smith also as the NPCs.
Okay.
I think that's everyone.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
So thankful for that, because without you guys, we couldn't have made this as lively as we have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It would definitely feel a lot more dull, I think, without the different.
Yeah, I think that's a big difference in this game with some of the older ones. You definitely have the cinematics, right, which is typically what we don't have time for, right?
Mhm.
So, and then having that story base and then the voiceover, I think, really adds to the game. Now, tell our viewers out there where can they find this game?
So soon the Steam page will be up. It'll be
Yeah.
on Steam. I'm
Yeah.
very excited for that. We're trying to work towards that right now. Yes.
Let me get back to there.
Yeah. So Inferno Frontier should be coming out to Steam
Yeah.
hopefully within the next few weeks, as long as we
Yeah.
don't have issues with Steam or any
Yeah.
really game-breaking bugs
Oh,
pop
yeah.
up anytime soon. So
I'm sure there will be
Yeah.
something, but yeah.
there's
Yeah.
I like, not to put a date to it, but I'm hoping
Yeah.
like mid-June at like.
But they should have
latest.
a page up pretty
Yeah.
soon that they could
Yeah.
see at least wish listed or something like
Yeah,
that,
for
right?
sure. Yeah, we've
Okay.
been hard at work at that.
Great.
Avery and Carter working on a lot of the pictures for it. 'Cause Steam
Yeah.
needs a lot of pictures.
Good. Well, great job, guys. I really enjoy it. I think the game looks fantastic. I hope people
Thank you.
enjoy it. And I guess we'll just catch you guys next time on NGTV. Hold on, don't